The cargo bay of the stellar horizon was never supposed to house children. Yet there she was, Leah Carter, 7 years old, with scraped knees and eyes too bright for someone who'd just lost everything. The refugee transport had been her home for 3 weeks now, ever since the colony on Kepler 442b fell to the Ravager swarms. She sat cross-legged behind a stack of supply crates, humming softly to herself. The other refugees avoided this section. They said it was cursed. They said something had been stalking the shadows since the ship passed through the void reaches. They were right. Varkesh had been hunting for 2 cycles. The massive predator, native to the death world of Krynat, had somehow breached the cargo hold during a supply stop. His species stood nearly 3 meters at the shoulder, with midnight black fur that seemed to absorb light itself, and eyes that glowed like molten amber. The Krynathi were apex predators, feared across 12 systems. One had never been captured alive. He was dying. A fragment of crystalline metal, some piece of ship debris, had lodged deep in his snout during his forced entry. Every breath was agony. Every movement sent fire through his nervous system. He had grown weak, unable to hunt, unable to even think clearly through the haze of pain. That's when he smelled her. The scent was wrong, alien. Prey-like but laced with something his instincts couldn't categorize. Not fear, curiosity perhaps, and something sweeter. Compassion. Varkesh's predatory mind rejected the concept. Prey didn't feel compassion. Prey ran or fought. Yet this tiny creature approached his hiding spot between the cargo containers with slow, deliberate steps. "Hello?" Leah's voice was barely a whisper. "Are you hurt?" He should have killed her instantly. His kind had slaughtered entire battalions. The Galactic Council had quarantined his homeworld for good reason. Yet Varkesh found himself frozen, amber eyes locked on this impossibly small being. Leah knelt down, tilting her head. "You're really big. And scary-looking, but..." She bit her lip, considering. "My dad always said scared animals are just hurt animals." Varkesh's growl rumbled like distant thunder. The child should have run. Instead, she scooted closer. "I can see it," she said softly, pointing at his snout. "There's something shiny stuck there. That must hurt so much." She reached out slowly. Every instinct in Varkesh's body screamed to strike, to tear, to defend. But the pain was overwhelming, and this creature's eyes held no malice, only that strange, impossible compassion. "I'm going to help you, okay? It might hurt more for a second, but then it'll be better. I promise." Her tiny fingers grasped the shard of metal. Varkesh's entire body tensed. One wrong move and he could bite her in half without thinking. The little human pulled steadily, her face scrunched in concentration. The shard came free. For a moment, time seemed to stop. Blood trickled from Varkesh's nose, but the pressure, the unbearable, maddening pressure, was gone. He could breathe. He could think. Leah sat back, holding the bloody fragment. "See? All better now." She pulled a small cloth from her pocket and dabbed gently at his wound. "My mom used to do this when I got hurt. Before the Ravagers came." Varkesh stared at her. In his 70 years of life, he had known only violence and survival. His species had evolved on a world where mercy was extinction. Yet this fragile creature, this child, had saved him. She had shown him kindness. The concept shattered something fundamental in his worldview. He lowered his massive head, pressing his snout gently against her tiny hand, a gesture his kind reserved only for packmates. "You're welcome," Leah whispered, scratching behind his ear. "What's your name?" "I'm Leah." Varkesh couldn't speak human languages. His vocal structure wouldn't allow it, but he could understand them. And he could make a choice. This child was now his pack, and he would protect her with every breath in his body. The alarm klaxons shattered the quiet moment. Red emergency lights flooded the cargo bay. Over the intercom, the captain's panicked voice echoed, "Ravager fighters inbound. All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill." The stellar horizon shuddered as weapons fire raked across her hull. Passengers screamed. Somewhere above, explosions tore through the upper decks. Leah grabbed onto Varkesh's fur, trembling. "What's happening?" The great wolf's eyes narrowed. He understood. The same species that destroyed her world had found this ship, and they were coming. He moved with terrifying speed, positioning himself between Leah and the cargo bay entrance. His lips pulled back, revealing fangs like obsidian daggers. A sound emerged from deep in his chest, Not a growl, but something older, something primal. A war cry that had echoed across his world for millennia. The cargo bay doors exploded inward. 3 Ravager soldiers, insectoid warriors in black combat armor, skittered inside, weapons raised. They never stood a chance. Varkesh was a blur of midnight fury. The first Ravager died before it could pull its trigger, torn apart by claws that could rend starship hull plating. The second managed a single shot, which Varkesh took in the shoulder without slowing, before its head separated from its body. The third turned to run. The wolf was faster. When the captain and security team finally reached the cargo bay, they found Leah sitting calmly beside the massive predator. 3 Ravager corpses lay scattered around them. Varkesh was licking his wounded shoulder while the little girl held his paw. "It's okay," Leah told the stunned officers. "He's with me." The story spread like wildfire. By the time they reached the next station, every newsfeed in the sector was running the footage from the cargo bay security cameras. A human child, a 7-year-old girl, had befriended a Krynathi apex predator. The same species the Galactic Council had deemed too dangerous to contact, and Varkesh had chosen to protect her. Within a month, diplomatic channels opened with Krynat for the first time in centuries. The wolf people wanted to meet the species that could inspire such loyalty from one of their own. They wanted to understand these humans who showed compassion to monsters. Within a year, the Krynathi joined the Galactic Coalition, but only on the condition that humanity was granted equal representation on the council. "They saved one of ours when they had every reason to fear," the Krynathi ambassador declared. "What greater measure of character exists?" And through it all, Leah Carter kept a promise to her new friend. She never left his side, and Varkesh kept his own promise, one that needed no words. He would always protect his pack. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their capacity for compassion, even toward monsters in the dark, especially toward monsters in the dark.